Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Spaghetti Westerns podcast. I'm Tom Betts, your host, and this is season 9, episode 5, number 145 altogether. Today we're going to talk about, in our history of the Spaghetti Western segment, we're going to talk about the last ride to Santa Cruz. To go along with that, whatever became of will be Mario Adorf. And then we're going to talk about someone I mentioned several episodes ago that pops up in a film we're going to talk about later, and that is Who Are Those Guys? And it's Antoine St. John. He was in Duck You Sucker, and I forgot to cover him. Anyways, I've got an autograph of the week, no book of the week. I do have some posters on the two films we're going to talk about, and then the CD of the week, and we'll wrap things up with the news of the week. So let's get going with the history of the Spaghetti Westerns and the last ride to Santa Cruz. We've talked about German Westerns in the past in some of the episodes we've covered. The Indian films, the Winnetou films. We've also talked about the DEFA uh, East German Indian films, but the Germans also made a few normal Westerns before they got into the co-productions with the Spaniards and the French and the Italians in the later 60s and early 70s. So one of them that came out early on and we have not covered goes back to 1963, and that's The Last Ride to Santa Cruz. A lot of people have not seen this film. It's very hard to find. It's written about all the time in the books, but trying to find a copy or see it is difficult. I've seen it once. Anyways, the German title is Der letzte Ritt nach Santa Cruz, where the English title is The Last Ride to Santa Cruz. I can't find any alternative titles to it other than that. It's a 63 German-Austrian co-production. The director is Rolf Olsen. Story is by Charles Sealsfield. Screenplay is by Alex Berg. Alex Berg's real name is Herbert Reinecker. He also did 3 other spaghetti westerns or European westerns, including Massacre at Marble City and A Man Called Gringo. So you should be familiar with him. Cinematography is by the great Carl Loeb. It's in Eastman color and ultrascope. Music is by Charlie Neeson. His real name is Carl Neeson, and also Irwin Halitz. I think Charlie Neeson did the song that's in this. Running time is 95 minutes. The main cast members are Rex Kelly, is played by Edmund Purdom. Pedro Ortiz is played by Mario Adorf. Elizabeth or Liz Kelly is played by Mariana Koch. Jose the Apache is played by Klaus Kinski. Juanita is played by Marissa Mell, who we talked about a few episodes ago. A couple of other people that you'll recognize in the cast are Woody Johnson, played by Walter Giller. He was in the Winnetou films. And Fernando by Sigurd Rupp, who was in Fistful of Dollars. Okay, the story goes, Pedro Ortiz, played by Mario Adorf, is released from prison and breaks out the last of his remaining gang. He sets out to collect the loot he has hidden on a mountain named Santa Cruz. So Santa Cruz is not a town in California. In this film, it's a mountain. On his way, he decides to exact revenge on Sheriff Rex Kelly, played by Edmund Purdom. He's the guy who put him in jail. He finds that ex-Sheriff Kelly is now a banker. Ortiz and the gang kidnap Kelly's wife and son and keep them hostage in his Santa Cruz mountain hideout. After Kelly pays Ortiz a ransom for money he stole from his own bank, he pursues the outlaws and they are eliminated one by one until the posse arrives and kills Ortiz and reunites the Kelly family. Like I said, this is a German Western produced and distributed by Constantine Films, who also did the same for the Winnetou films. but this is completely different from the Indian films. This is like a more like a mainstay American Western with a revenge plot to it. The plot reminds me a bit of Sunscorched, also starring Mark Stevens and Mariana Koch, and Mario Adorf was in that one too. Pedro Ortiz, played by Mario Adorf, is a sort of Mexican Robin Hood. He steals from the rich and helps the poor, but likes to keep most of the money for himself. Ortiz frees his cellmates and fellow criminal henchmen, but also the son of a former friend, a young man who is imprisoned for defending his parents against a rich landowner who is after their property. Grateful at first, the young man later turns against Ortiz when he witnesses the dark side of the outlaw. Apparently, Ortiz once was like the young man, a farmer's son who stood up against the forces of evil and injustice. There's still some good in him, but associating with a bad crowd, alcohol, and greed have turned him into a bandit and outlaw. Koch and Roop would all appear the following year in the German, Italian, Spanish co-produced Fistful of Dollars, while Kinski would appear in 1965's for a few dollars more. So there's a good connection here between this film and the Sergio Leone Dollar trilogy. One of the best scenes in the film for me was Kinski taking refuge in a church, only to be murdered by a mob of townsmen as he turns from a vicious killer to a craving coward. It's a great scene. I thought the ending, drawn out fight between Adorf and Purdom was over the top and a bit dragged out. This was filmed in the Grand Canary Islands. It was the same place Take a Hard Ride was made. Like I said, this is difficult to find. It's on DVD in Germany and Spain only, and has no English language version available. I don't recall where I saw it. I don't have either the German or the Spanish DVDs, so I must have seen it either on uh, Daily Motion or on YouTube. So take a look for it online someplace. As far as actor profiles go, Rex Kelly, played by Edmund Purdom. Edmund Anthony Cutler Purdom was born in Welwyn Garden City, Hertfordshire, England, on December 19th, 1924. He was the son of actress Lillian Antonia Cutler and became a director, theater, film, TV actor. He was married 3 times and had 2 children. He became a huge star when he appeared in the 1954 film The Egyptian. But stardom was fleeting, and he spent some time replacing other stars who dropped out of productions and ended up failing both in the United States and in England. He ended up in Italy appearing in small productions. Purdom died at 82 in Rome on January 1st, 2009. He appeared altogether in 5 spaghetti westerns. We covered him previously in episode number 117. Then we have Pedro Ortiz, who we'll cover in a few moments, so I won't go into him. Elizabeth, or Liz Kelly, is played by Mariana Koch. Mariana Koch was born in Munich, Germany on August 19th, 1931. She is a medical doctor, author, film and TV actress, the daughter of a physician. She appeared in more than 65 films between 1950 and 1971. She had numerous leading roles in the German cinema of the 1950s and 60s, and even a short American film career. She was married to a doctor and has 2 sons. She appeared in 6 spaghetti westerns and today at 94 is retired and living in Germany. We covered her in more detail in her own special episode number 105. Then we have Klaus Kinski, who, like Fernando Sancho, is in almost every other episode we do. He played Jose the Apache. Kinski was born October 18th, 1926, in Zopat, Free City of Danzig. He died on November 23rd, 1991, in Lagunitas, California, from a heart attack. He appeared in 22 spaghetti westerns. We covered him in his own special episode, number 7. Okay, that'll do it for Take a Last Ride to Santa Cruz. Now we'll move on to Who Are Those Guys and Antoine St. John. Okay, Antoine St. John was born in Avignon, province Alpes, Côte d'Azur, France, on August 11, 1940. Most of his acting career was in the theater until around 1970 when he began working in films. He spoke fluent French, English, and German, so he was used in international films productions. He was sometimes billed as Domingo Antoine, Jean-Michel Antoine, and just Antoine Michel. Because, because of his gaunt face and his hard features, he was used in cinema to play villains. His acting career, which lasted only 16 years, includes a total of 12 films, 3 TV series, and 2 miniseries. His most famous role was in John Milius's historical epic, The Wind and the Lion, in 1975, where he played German Colonel von Rorkel. In fact, he played military men in several of his films. He also appeared as a zombified artist Schweik in Lucio Fulci's cult horror film The Beyond in 1981, The Bandaged Man in 1982's Ginger and Fred, and even pops up in a Bud Spencer Terence Hill film, All the Way Boys, as one of Mr. Ear's gang members. We remember him best in Duck You Sucker. He played Colonel Gutierrez or Colonel Reza, and was credited as Domingo Antoine / Jean Michel. He also appeared in Escape in 1973's My Name is Nobody with Terence Hill. St. John died in Avignon, France on July 2, 1990. He was a month short of turning 50. I'll list his complete filmography of Westerns after this episode is posted on both Facebook and YouTube. Okay, now we'll move along to Whatever Became of Mario Adorf. Okay, Mario Adorf was born in Zurich, Switzerland on September 8, 1930. Adorf was the illegitimate child of Matteo Minetti, an Italian surgeon, and Alice Adorf, a German medical assistant. He grew up in his maternal grandfather's hometown of Mayen, where he was raised by his mother. He rose to fame in Europe and particularly Germany, and also made appearances in international films including 10 Little Indians and Smila's Sense of Snow. His Mediterranean looks, his rugged face, his dark, oily, frizzy hair, and his stout body made him an ideal villain in European-made westerns, spy or mafia films. These flicks, made in the 1960s, were mostly just commercial, and Adorf hammed his parts, but he did so brilliantly that he alone made them watchable. In 1962, he married director-actress Liz Verhoeven. Prior to their divorce, the couple had a child, actress Stella Adorf, in 1963. He starred with Barbara Boucher in Milano Calibro 9 in 1972. In 1985, he married Monique Fay. Mario also sang and wrote books. In fact, he wrote 5 novels and 1 memoir. Today, he's considered to be one of the great veteran character actors of European cinema. He still makes occasional personal appearances. Adorf has expressed regret that he declined roles in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather in 1972 and Billy Wilder's 1, 2, 3 in 1961. He also turned down the role of General Mapache in Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch, 1969, because he felt the character was too violent. In 1996, he provided the German dubbing voice for the character Draco in Dragonheart, a role performed by Sean Connery. In the world of European westerns, Adorf has appeared in 9. The Taste of Violence in 1960 as Chamaco. In 1963's Apache Gold, he played probably his most recognizable role of the genre as Frederick Santer. 1963, he played Pedro Ortiz in The Last Ride to Santa Cruz, and in 1964, he appeared as Matt Ellis in Massacre at Marble City. 1965 found him playing Abel Dragna in Sunscorched, and with Juliana Gemma in And for a Roof, A Sky Full of Stars as Henry Harry Jim. In 1968, he appeared in The Specialist with Johnny Halliday as Francisco Rafael, El Diablo Fatoro, and in 1970 the offbeat Deadlock as Charles the Rat Drum. 46 years later, he reprised his role as the villainous Frederick Louis Santer in the TV miniseries of Minute to Der Let's Kampf. Again, I'll list all of those on Facebook and YouTube after we're done. Okay? Now we'll get into the film of the week, and it's The Genius. Okay, I call it The Genius because the other titles are just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. This one's easy to remember. This is a 1975 Italian-French West German film co-production. The Italian title is Un genio, due compare un polo. The French title is Un genie, due associis un cloche. The German title is Nobody is der Größte. The English titles are A Genius, Two Partners and a Dupe. Also A Genius, Two Friends and an Idiot. Also the Nobody's the Greatest, Nobody's Perfect. Trinity is Back Again, and the one I use, The Genius. The director is Damiano Damiani, and there's a scene that's directed by Sergio Leone, which we'll talk about. Story is by Ernesto Gastaldi and Fulvio Morcella. Screenplay is by Damiano Damiani, Fulvio Morcella, and Ernesto Gastaldi. Cinematography is by the great Giuseppe Rossellini. It's in Technicolor and CinemaScope. Music is by Ennio Morricone, and the song Glory, Glory, Glory is sung by Catherine Howe. The film runs 126 minutes, so if you see a version shorter than that, you know you're not watching the complete version. Anyways, the main cast is made up of Joe Thanks, or Nobody, which is Terence Hill, Lucy, or Lilla, which is played by Miu Miu. In fact, today is her birthday. Happy birthday. Locomotive, or Steam Engine Bill, or Paul Lambert, is played by Robert Charleboy. And Major Cabot, or Major Harris, is played by Patrick McGowan. Also in the cast is Doc Foster, played by Klaus Kinski. Colonel Pembroke is played by Gene Martin from My Name is Nobody. Sergeant Milton is played by Raymond Harmsdorf. Also, the sheriff in the film is Renato Baldini, and Krucher is played by the great Mario Brega. The story goes that Joe Thanks, played by Terence Hill, a clever crook and con man, convinces his two sidekicks, the half-breed Locomotive Bill, played by Robert Charleboy, and his friend Lucy, played by Miu Miu, to help organize a fraud against Major Cabot, played by Patrick McGowan, for getting $300,000 meant as payment to the local Indian tribe. The plan, somewhat tortuous, provides first of all gaining entrance to the fort where the payment is kept. Bill will be dressed and disguised as a colonel. The twist is Major Cabot has decided to rip off the Indians by keeping the payment in exchange for good grazing land and an alleged gold mine. The money is loaded on a coach, which gives Joe Thanks the opportunity to steal it. Despite in his hands, Joe succeeds with his usual skill and money. Despite some complication, Joe succeeds with his usual skill and the money finally rests in his hands. But he has also conned his friends, as what is his intention all along is to give the money to the Indians. They are all resigned to the outcome in the conclusion. For their efforts, Locomotive Bill decides to start a new life with Lucy and to live with the Indians. Okay, as far as talking points are concerned, this was a sequel, or supposedly, to My Name is Nobody, but it's not anything like the original except the Terence Hill character. Some versions he's actually called Nobody. There's always been a rumor that the last reel of the film for this film was lost or stolen, and cut scenes were put together with some additional footage taken to finish the film. Whether what we see is what was planned and written, or was it the best they could do with what they had to work with and the time allotted, we'll never really know. Although Damiano Damiani directed the majority of the film, Sergio Leone directed the opening scene, which shows the entrance of Hill's character Joe Thanks to the film. Kinski is deadpan, and most people figure he did it for the money. Although the scene is excellently done, it has nothing to do with the rest of the film. Fans basically fall into two groups. Either they love it or love most of it or just hate it. The location of the prison where Trinity is sent was seen in several spaghetti westerns, including The Hills Run Red, Return of the Magnificent Seven, and Texas Adios. It's called the Plaza de Fiestas, Nuevo Bastan, Madrid, Spain. It's almost down south in Toledo. Many of wait, let me read this again. Many of the location scenes were filmed in Monument Valley. You'll see one tall lone spire. This is also seen in Clint Eastwood's The Eiger Sanction, where he climbs it in preparation of his later treacherous mountain climbing. Okay, as far as actor profiles go, Joe Thanks or Nobody is played by Terence Hill. As you know, his real name is Mario Girardi, and he was born in Venice, Italy on March 29, 1939. He appeared in 22 spaghetti and Winnetou westerns from 1964 to the present day. He's married to writer Laurie Hill and the son of producer, writer, and actor Jess Hill. His adopted son, Ross Hill, died in a motorcycle accident in 1990 at the age of 16. Hill retired after 20 seasons plus of Don Mateo in 2022. He supposedly is working on one last Western called Trinity, the Nun, and the Gun, but the project's been in the works since 2021. We covered Terence in his own special episode, number 43. Lucy, or Lilla, is played by Miu Miu. Her real name is Sylvette Harry, Herry. She was born on February 22nd, 1950 in Paris, France, so today is her 75th birthday. She's a film and TV actress, the mother of writer-actress Angèle Harry de Clercq, born in 1974, with composer Patrick Douer, who died in 1982. She's also the mother of director-actress Jean Harry, Geanne, who was born in 1978, with actor-composer-singer Julien Clerc. She's appeared in over 105 films and TV appearances, and is currently working on an upcoming film and a TV series. This was her only spaghetti western. Then we have Locomotive or Steam Engine Bill, or Paul Lambert, as he's called, played by Robert Charlebois. Charlebois was born in Montreal, Canada on June 25, 1944. He's an author, composer, singer, film, and TV actor. He's appeared in 14 films and TV appearances since 1967. He's been awarded the Order of Canada in 1999 and an Order of Quebec in 2008. This is his only spaghetti western. Last but not least, we have Major Cabot or Harris, played by Patrick McGoohan. Patrick Joseph McGoohan was born in Astoria, Queens, New York City on March 19, 1928. He was a producer, director, writer, film, TV actor. He was married to actress Anne McGoohan, and they had 3 children. He made around 70 films, but is probably best remembered for his starring role in the TV series The Prisoner, which ran for only 17 episodes between 1967 and 1968. This was his only spaghetti western appearance. Okay, that wraps up the film of the week. Let's do the CD and LP of the week. Okay, for The Last Ride to Santa Cruz, it was never released on an LP or a CD. It was released on a 7-inch EP by Polydor on number 50036. It has 12 tracks and a value of $126 if you have a copy. Let's talk about the composer Erwin Halitz. Erwin Halitz was an Austrian multi-instrumentalist, composer, arranger, conductor, band leader, and singer. He was born July 12, 1923 in Vienna, Austria, and died there on October 27, 2008. He was the husband of the Greek-Austrian singer Nina Consta. He was first violinist of the Wiener Transorchester. I guess that's Transorchester. Hallett also composed and arranged music for this ensemble. In 1950, he took over the baton of the orchestra and led it for tours and recording sessions with artists such as Zara Leander and Udo Jürgens. In 1963, Hallett composed, arranged, and conducted Austria's Eurovision Song Contest entry, Weiland Geschichte und Wunder, for Carmela Corrin. From 1961 to 2002, Hallett worked and lived in Monaco, being the principal arranger and conductor of the Monte Carlo Light Symphony Orchestra. His other European Western scores were Legend of a Gunfighter in '64 and two Karl May Westerns, Pyramid of the Sun God in '64 and Treasure of the Aztecs in '65. Okay, as far as the genius is concerned, the composer is Ennio Morricone, which we've covered before. And in 1975, an LP was released in France and Italy on Gerard Tournier, number GT36510. Also, it was released on Areola on OT27207 with 13 tracks and a listening time of 31 minutes and 40 seconds. Also on CBS on 69231 with 10 tracks. Listening time was only 26 minutes and 19 seconds. And in France on Sonoprix GT36510. And in Canada in 1976 on Darum XDEF number 128, and the Netherlands on Philips 9286329. All of these mentioned LPs have 13 tracks and a value of $4 to $25. In 1990, an LP came out in Japan on Soundtrack Listeners Communications, SLCS 7262. It had 13 tracks and a listening time of 31 minutes and 19 seconds. Last but not least was a UK or England CD, which came out on Hexachord HCD04 with 14 tracks and a listening time of 37 minutes, 42 seconds. That was worth anywhere from 21 minutes to 42 seconds. So if you want to listen to any of that music, that's where to get them. Okay, let's go to Autograph of the Week. Okay, Autograph of the Week is Fran Jeffries. She was in a British production called A Talent for Loving, which came out in '69. She was married to singer Dick Hames from 1958 to 1965. She's the mother of Stephanie Hames, who was born in 1959. Stephanie is also an actress. Got that at one of the collector's shows in LA. Okay, real quick, I'll show you the CD for The Genius. Okay, let's go to Tom's Poster Attic. Okay, first of all, we have Belgium poster for Last Ride to Santa Cruz. Always good artwork on those. And I can stand up on for this one. This is the German poster for Last Ride to Santa Cruz. That looks very familiar to the Winnetou films. The poster is filled with headshots. Then we have the Genius, and this is the German poster for the Genius. Giant headshot of Terence Hill. And then I've got a English or British window poster for a genius. That one heavily links to My Name is Nobody. Okay, that'll do it for Tom's Post-Erratic, and we'll wrap things up with News of the Week. Okay, News of the Week. There's a new 6-disc German DVD that was released uh, this past week, and it contains 6 discs and 6 spaghetti westerns. I have no idea what the quality is. There's not much information on Seb's Spaghetti Westerns database either, and I couldn't find much online other than the German titles, which I've converted over to the English titles so you know what they are. First one is Dig Your Grave, Sabata's Coming. Then we have Killer Adios, $3 of Lead, Dirty Pistols of Dallas, Sartana in the Valley of Death, and $3 silver. It offers Italian and German languages. Some great rare films in here, but what the quality is, I have no idea. Usually in these combos, they're not too good, but since there's 6 discs, individual films on each disc, they could be pretty good. Then we have a new French Blu-ray of Compañeros on the Carlotta Films label, which was released on the 18th. The film was directed by Sergio Corbucci in 1970 and starred Tomas Milian, Franco Nero, Iris Bourbon, and Fernando Rey. It contains 2 discs and offers French, Italian, and English language tracks with subtitles available in French. Running time is 119 minutes. Extras include an interview with Jean-Baptiste Thoré, an original trailer, and includes the documentary Django e Django on a separate Blu-ray disc. Then we have our sad points, the Boot Hill section. We have Spanish cinematographer and film restorer Juan Marin died in Madrid, Spain on February 17th. He was 104, with 140 titles to his credit from the years before the Spanish Civil War to the 1990s. He participated in great classics of Spanish cinema. Apart from his work as a director of photography, he stands out for his work in the restoration of old films for the Film School of the Community of Madrid, ECAM, and the Spanish Film Archive from the mid-1980s with a technology designed by him. Considered not only as one of the great professionals, but as the memory of Spanish cinema for his long experience and his work in the recovery, restoration, and conservation of film heritage. He has been worthy of numerous awards and tributes, among which were an honorary Goya for his professional career in 2024. I think he was just given that in November or December of last year, and he was in attendance and looked fine. Juan was a cinematographer in 1969's Legacy of the Incas. Then we have Genevieve Page. Legendary French actress Genevieve Page died in Paris on February 14th. She was 98. She was born Genevieve Anne Marguerite Brangin on December 13th, 1927. Her career spanned more than 50 years. She's a daughter of French art collector Jacques Paul Brangin. He was born in 1899 and died in 1990. She was a film and theater actress known for Belle de Jour in 1967, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes in 1970, and Fan Fan La Tulipe in 1952. She was previously married to Jean-Claude Boujard. The actress distinguished herself in a blockbuster that would win 3 Oscars, Anthony Manziel's Sid, starring Sophia Loren and Charlton Heston. Page appeared in only one Euro Western as Lady Delphine Butler in 1973's A Talent for Loving. Then we have Tony Isbert. Spanish theater, film, and television actor Tony Isbert died of pneumothorax at his home in Santander, Cantabria, Spain on February 19th. He was 74. Tony was born in Madrid on December 5th, 1950, the son of actress Maria Isbert and the grandson of actor Pepe Isbert. He has 6 siblings, including the writer, actor, and playwright Jose S. Isbert and Carlos Isbert. He is well known in the world of theater for being the one who annually presents the Jose Isbert Theater Award, awarded by the AMITE Association. That's the Association of Friends of the Theaters of Spain. In 2009, he was awarded an AMITE Gold Medal for his many merits. His first film success was in 1969 with the film Are You My Father? That same year, he co-starred with Marisol in the film Corolla by Day, Corolla by Night, playing the character of Daniel Ray. Isbert appeared in 3 spaghetti westerns. He appeared in 3 episodes of the new Zorro TV series in 1990, starring Duncan Rieger, and was a bank robber in the TV film Outlaw Justice, starring Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson, and as Mark in 1997's The Return of El Coyote. Last but not least, we have Antonio Carreras. He died at 82. He was the young Spaniard who played the crying fiddle player in the Betterville Band in 1966's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He died on February 16th. He was born in Spain in 1942 and is the older brother of Domingo, who is still living and was born in 1946. Domingo played the harmonica in the band. These musicians were recruited from Burgos and neighboring towns to fill positions in the scene where Angel Eyes had Sergeant Wallace beat up and torture Tuco to try and gain information on the hidden treasure. Okay, that'll wrap it up for this week. Again, happy birthday to Miu Miu. And this has been a Roberto Genesi production. And until next time, adios, amigos.